Agency. We all love agency. Agency makes us masters of our own destiny. It's when we have choices, when we have empowerment to make our future unfold before us. And in a classroom setting and in a forest school setting, agency is your best friend. When children have agency, when they make choices for themselves, when they make choices together, then you have a real chance at this flow learning that we talk about, because agency is one of the requirements, you might say, or the prerequisites to having a classroom where there's flow learning, because children need to really make choices for themselves. And it's not just little choices. Some of these choices are bigger choices that they do collectively or individually. So in order to create an environment where children have agency and children work together a lot, we kind of have to step back a little bit and think about how this happens. And I'm sure it can happen in many different ways, but group development is an important part of creating agency in a classroom for children. And so our next few videos are going to talk about how we can help set up a classroom where children have agency. And I personally have done this in group development, and you may have heard a little bit about this. For instance, anytime you get a group together, whether it's children or adults, whether it's a smaller group or a larger group, they typically go through phases of development, their ability to work together, in other words. And it starts with forming. This is the getting to know you phase. Sometimes we even call it the honeymoon phase. Sometimes it's peaceful. And we're going to talk a little bit about the teacher's role during that time in another video. And the next stage after forming is storming. And we all know that after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe a day or two even, children will often start having their struggles as they are getting to know each other on a different level. They've gone from getting to know each other to and becoming friends, we hope, to now they're starting to struggle, storm. After that is that golden period where the teacher has an ability to really help them, and that actually the teacher is involved in all of this. But the norming phase comes next. So we have forming, storming, and norming. And norming is where they will try it on their own. That's where they start creating systems and methods for getting along, and norms, you might say, for how they're going to work together as a group. And this is a pivotal time in the classroom, and we as facilitators and as teachers can really make a difference for them. After that becomes performing. So they've formed, they've done some storming, and they'll continue to do some storming off and on. Now they've done norming, and now they are performing, and that's where you will see they fall into these decision-making situations pretty quickly. Sometimes they still need help because they're little, but the performing stage is where you hope they'll be off and on throughout the school year, where they can actually solve problems for themselves with just a little bit of guidance. And after that, we have transforming, which is typically at the dissolving of the group. Children move on to their next group, and hopefully we hope they take some of these skills that they've learned with them. So that is the basic structure for how I have in the past set up a classroom and a forest school group, you might say, that works together at least part of the time with a little bit of help and sometimes a lot of independence. And it's a really beautiful thing. So the next few videos are going to flesh this out a little bit. And so I hope you'll stay with me.